This video is being brought to you by These Slippers Suck production.
Warning.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And Gene Simmons and Van Halen are uniquely tied together in rock history. Gene Simmons famously saw Van Halen perform during the band's early days. He later signed the band to his production company, which flew Van Halen to New York to record a demo at the famed Electric Lady Studios. Things obviously fell through business-wise, but Simmons kept in touch with Eddie Van Halen. And in a new interview with Classic Rock, Simmons looked back on Van Halen's impact on rock and roll and the last time he saw Eddie Van Halen. Gene Simmons said he and Eddie ran into each other on Sunset Boulevard. The Kiss bassist didn't give an approximate date of the interaction, but he noted that Eddie was already deeply affected by cancer. I had read that he blamed his condition on using a metal guitar pick, putting it in his mouth. In my view, that wasn't the cause. Eddie smoked all the time. All the time. And when I heard the familiar voice calling my name on the street, "Hey Gene," I wasn't sure what to say. His condition was well known at this point. He brought it up and started a conversation and said, "Hey man, how you doing? I got cancer." I was embarrassed and wanted to reach out and hug him, but standing there on the street with a cigarette in his hand, he opened his mouth and smiled. Check this out, inviting me to look at the space where his upper palate should have been. He just shrugged. "I've got this disease. What you gonna do? I'll see you around." It was typical Eddie. Happy-go-lucky. Simmons made a point to mention how Eddie Van Halen was such a unique character in rock. When he indulged in excess, he wasn't always all about the music. Gene Simmons never forgotten about the potential signing of Van Halen's long term. On the Kiss cruise in November, a fan asked the question about Kiss merchandising during Q&A. The question led Simmons saying, "We made one big mistake. One. There was one band called Van Halen. They were signed to the Man of a Thousand Faces company, which is my company, and there was a 24-track demo. They were owned, locked, stock and barrel, and signed and happy and wanted to sign with us. And we said no." Paul Stanley of Kiss chimed in and said, "I was with Gene when he first saw Van Halen at the Starwood. But the idea of managing or producing bands when we really were still at the beginning of our career was something that was called self-preservation." And then Simmons said, "It was my mistake. But Paul Stanley of Kiss doesn't remember. I discovered Van Halen." Yeah, Gene loves saying that, how he discovered Van Halen. And I think it was in the Paul Stanley book that it was Paul Stanley that told Gene Simmons to come along with him. But it doesn't even matter. Neither Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons discovered Van Halen. How can you... You know who discovered Van Halen? Ted Templeman. When he saw them, and I think the other guy from Warner Brothers, Mo something. They discovered Van Halen, signed them, and they got signed to Warner Brothers, and the rest is history. Simmons recorded them in New York. Great demo, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second. And so he recorded them. Then he tried to sell it to Bill Aucoin. I think maybe Paul too, I'm not sure. But they all declined. They're like, nope, we don't want nothing to do with this. Little did they know, Gene Simmons had the band that was going to rule the 80s and the last couple of years of the 70s. Little did they know they were going to become rock and roll history, you know. So the weird thing is, I don't know if Gene would do this today, but back then Gene was like, look, good luck to you guys. I'm going to tear up the contract. You're no longer tied to me, and good luck to you. Which is weird. I mean, wow. Gene did that. I think he regrets that, but he figures, oh, I'll just keep going around saying I discovered Van Halen. You know, another band that he didn't discover, but he saw and he had interest in them, was Cinderella. But then Bon Jovi came and discovered them. See, when Bon Jovi took care of Cinderella, they got signed to, you know, Mercury or something, and they became huge at the time. Bon Jovi did that. Gene has never, ever, ever, like, got a band and made them, you know, got them signed to a big company, and that band made a lot of money. Gene Simmons even had his Moneybag record company. House of Lords, Silent Rage, you name it. Every band he had didn't go anywhere. And even before that, he produced Black and Blue, he produced Keel. Didn't do anything. You know, Gene Simmons, he only succeeds in Kiss. But that guy keeps throwing stuff at walls, you know, hoping it would stick. But anyway, I've had the Zero demos forever. We all have. All us Van Halen fans have owned the Zero demos for decades. Since the 90s, early 90s, I've had them. And I found this on eBay. And it's a green vinyl, and it sounds awesome, which is the demos Gene Simmons produced. And it's awesome. I love the Zero demos. On the track listing is On Fire is what opens it. Woman in Love, which is not the version that's on Van Halen 2. Woman in Love is totally different. House of Pain, which Gene Simmons says is better than the 1984 demo. 1984 version. I disagree, but I still think all the songs on here kick ass. And Gene Simmons' band have been playing this version of House of Pain on their recent tour. Running with the Devil's on there. She's a Woman. Let's Get Rockin', which later became, I forgot what. I know Let's Get Rockin' became another song on Different Kind of Truth. She's a Woman's on the Different Kind of Truth. Anyway, Big Trouble is Big River on Different Kind of Truth. Somebody Get Me a Doctor is awesome. Babe Don't Leave Me Alone and Put Out the Lights. It's amazing. I absolutely love the Zero demos. Are these songs that are on the Van Halen albums better? No, I don't think so. I don't. I think what Ted Templeman did was a far superior job. Not slamming the Zero demos because I love it, and Gene did do a great job, but he's no Ted Templeman. And a little side note, when Paul Stanley of Kiss and Gene Simmons went to the club, they really went to go see a band called The Boys that were headlining. Van Halen was opening. And The Boys featured George Lynch on guitar, but I'm sure Van Halen smoked them. Van Halen smokes everybody. I have never seen a band ever in my life going to shows for over 40 years, a band that had the energy, that had the crowd on the palm of their hand, like Van Halen did with David Lee Roth. It was magic. If you weren't there, you would never understand, because I can never put into words What a spectacle that thing was. How the crowd just went insane for Van Halen. Way better than Kiss, in my opinion. I know it's Kiss Wednesday. I got a lot of Kiss people watching, but you know what? Check the comments in case you want to fucking attack me for that. Because I guarantee you're going to find comments of people leaving comments saying, I dig Van Halen with Daily Roth more than Kiss. I am positive I am not alone with that. But I still love Kiss, alright? Don't get it twisted. Let's cut the deck. Just because I like Van Halen more doesn't mean squat that it means Kiss sucks or anything. It just sucked compared to Van Halen. I didn't mean that. But what I do mean is thank you so much. I mean that. For watching the only news that matters. And please leave your comments below what you think of the Van Halen demos. Produced by Gene Simmons of Kiss. And also subscribe to the channel. Ring that little notification bell. And like the video because that would be good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
This video was brought to you by These Slippers Suck Production.
I'm out of here.